Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please, may we know your name?
OGBEIDE IFALUYI ISIBOR is my name, and I'm Honorable Commissioner for Digital Economy, Science and Technology, Edo State.
What do you do?
Well, my job is pretty easy. As the head of the ministry, we're in charge of formulating policies and coordinating all the key players in the digital ecosystem in the state government.
What can you say has been the achievement of your ministry in the past 8 years?
Wow, that's an exciting question, and I'm always very pleased when I have to talk about the achievements of Governor OBASEKI and also the achievements of the Edo people when it comes to digital economy, science and tech, especially when it comes to digital economy. Today, Edo is #1 in digital transformation. Today, Edo is #1 in ICT adoption. Today, Edo is #1 in digital public infrastructure. And this has been easy because of the kind of leadership we've had in His Excellency Governor OBASEKI. So as Honorable Commissioner in that ecosystem, I found it very exciting working with a boss who understands technology and who understands how the deployment of technology can make government seamless, efficient, and effective. So I would say I have a good story to tell, and we have a good story to tell in EDSG because we have become the cynosure of all eyes in West Africa because we've made tremendous advantage, we've made tremendous progress in the digital space, and Edo is #1 leading the West African sub-region.
What particular specific digital contributions has the state government made in the past 8 years?
Amazing. There's a whole lot of them. We are the only state in West Africa that has a state-owned Tier 3 data center. It's going to be launched in a couple days, and we have traveled all around, and we've seen that most of our competitors are coming to learn from us to find out what we have done in that space. And apart from that, we didn't stop there. We are the only state in Nigeria that has laid over 2,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables connecting the entire local government areas. We're now connecting schools, now we're connecting primary healthcare centers. We're the first and the only ones to have done that. We are also the only state in West Africa to have gone completely paperless. You see, the eGov platform everybody talks about now in Edo State has taken us to the crescendo of digitization, where all government correspondence, mail and memos are done without paper. So everywhere we go and we tell the story, people are wanting to find out from us, how did you do it? And when they ask me, I tell them, first of all, it has to do with the kind of leadership and the foresight and insight of that leader. And we're lucky to have a man as our governor who understands why we have to improve government efficiency, who understands why the engine room of government has to be robust like it is today. Edo State has the most digital set of public servants, and we owe that to the advantage our governor has brought in, the public service to make us, not only to become digital, but also to become very efficient, very effective, and we are proud of the story we have to tell.
Okay. You've mentioned 3 specific projects. First, that you have a Tier 3 data center. You have fiber optics laid, even going across the 18 local government areas.
Yes, sir.
And then you've gone paperless. For the people on the streets, they may not understand why a Tier 3 data center. Why should that be important in the first place? What is it? What's the relevance of that to the government, to the people? One. Secondly, fiber optics. Why is government spending so much money on fiber optics? Yeah, we know they are giving people free Wi-Fi. Why can't we afford our own Wi-Fi? What is the importance of putting so much money in this particular aspect of government? Yeah, the paperless is quite understandable. So for these 2, I would like you to give us more details.
Thank you. So that's the what is in it for us, like the people would ask.
Yeah.
And we found that question very profound as we went around the entire state telling the people what we've done as a government and also having to campaign, during the electioneering campaign. And I found it easy to communicate these ideals to the people as it relates to them individually. For example, the quality of life that we live as a people is directly proportional to the quality of the government that we have. And the quality of that government is proportional to the quality of the policies that our government can invoke to prosper the lives of the people. Like they say, government is about the welfare and security of the people. Why do we need a data center? We have to collect information, we have to collect data of the people so that government can plan for the people. And having a data center gives us that advantage to collect, to store our people's data so that when government is planning, budgeting for the people, we know, okay, this is the data we have when it has to do with education or health, or any other aspect of human endeavor. So data enables government to plan. So when we're talking about where we need roads or where we need schools, it's because we have the data. And so having a data center just gives us that advantage to store and clean our data. Again, we're also offering co-location services to other players in the industry who need it. That may not affect the average man on the street directly, but on the long run it does. Then you talked about...
how does it affect in the long run?
Well, how does it affect the long run? The average man on the street benefits from the policies of government. Mm-hmm. And government policies are effective because of government data. So having a data center just makes it easy for government to go to where they house this data, to fetch the data, to plan for the people. So when people in Ewutubu, for example, are saying that, oh, the roads are bad in Ewutubu, then we're going to calculate how many people live in Ewutubu, how many businesses are in Ewutubu. So what is the economics of having a road tied along that Ewutubu stretch? And that's because we can plan for that when we have the data for it. Without the data, we can't plan. So the people can only benefit when government has enough information to deploy resources to the benefits.
What about the co-location services you said you may offer to other people?
Okay, the co-location services, it may not affect everybody because really, for example, building a road in Ewutubu doesn't affect me directly. I don't live there. But if I have a business and I have to pay, X amount of dollars to host my website on AWS, and now the Edo State government is offering it to me for free, that's an advantage to me as a person. It may not affect my mom, but it affects me. It saves me money. I can now save more money to take care of my mom. So do you understand? So services that Edo people will pay for if they're in that digital space, they now have it for free, offered by the Edo State government. It saves them more money, gives them more latitude to spend on more, of the things that affect them. So on the long run, like I said, it affects everybody.
So in other words, the data center, aside from just providing data, makes it possible for other people to be able to get some digital services from government.
Absolutely. We offer email hosting, we offer web hosting. So this costs a lot of money normally, but we have commercialized our data center now and we offer some of these services for free. So that's the advantage. So every business that has to do, or that requires web hosting or email hosting or co-location, because there are some people who cannot afford to have a data center, but we have a space in our data center. We can say, oh, you bring in your servers, so we can co-locate and share those information that you have.
Does it generate income for government?
Yes, it will generate income for government now that we're commercializing. You see, we're offering these services for free for the first 6 months. After 6 months, people will now have to pay. And apart from people within, there are other states who are coming to us to seek to for us to house their data. So they can't afford to have data centers, but we have one. So we're offering those services too, and we charge them for it. I mean, it's not free, so we're making money from it. But it's not just about generating income. It's about delivering digital services to the people and by extension to the nation.
That's deep. Okay, so talking about the fiber optics, what are the practical examples of the application of this fiber optics? Because we hear the governor say, oh, we have fiber optics in 18 local government areas. People are like, okay, so we see Wi-Fi. He wants to put Wi-Fi in the 18 local government area. So
Why?
why is this so? What's the big deal? Is that what we should be spending money for? So what is the direct implication?
You know, a couple years ago, people used to refer to Edo State as a civil service state. But we are no longer referred to as a civil service state. We are fast becoming an industrialized state. And in that journey of industrialization, we talk a lot about e-commerce. So apart from the regular, idea of people renting shops, you have stores all over the place, e-commerce now is a new way of doing business across the world. I buy most of my stuff on social media from people who do not have regular shops, located in a particular location. And we're looking at the future and seeing how can we prosper businesses, how can we improve the GDP of the state, how can we improve the gross happiness index of Edo people by affecting their businesses. So there's a lady who lives in Auchi, for example, who sells clothes. And I'm living in Benin. And I may not be able to travel to Aochi to go shop at her store if she has one. But if she posts it on Facebook, on Twitter, or on Instagram, I can see what she has available right in the comfort of my home or office, and I can patronize her. So I've seen her wares on the internet, and if she's having not to pay for it, that saves her an advantage. That saves her money. So where she would have patronized MTN or any of these ISPs, now she has EdoNet, free, fast, reliable public Wi-Fi that she can have access to that prospers her business. That's just one. Two, Edo State is the first and the only state to now offer telemedicine. Okay. So we have PHCs, primary healthcare centers, all across the state where we can connect one PHC to a regular hospital or a secondary or tertiary medical facility, and you're having doctors communicate. So a woman in Usi village, for example, she's trying to get delivered of a baby, and the doctor is having difficulties. Because there's free Wi-Fi and there are fiber optic cables laid across the state, he can call the doctor in the city to say, see what I'm going through, and right on the screens, the doctor can help to perform surgeries or offer medical advice because of the internet. We also have what we call eClat. We have an eClat software such that if you go to Hospital A, for example, and you're referred to Hospital B, and the Hospital A took all your information, your vitals, your address, your name and all, when you go to Hospital B, you don't have to give all that information again because we have that software that synchronizes across all our hospitals. So where your data has been collected already, the data is already available at the next. So how has the free internet or the fiber optic cables benefited the people? It has helped also in education. In Edo State now we have the Edo Best program, where we have a synchronized pedagogy that a child who's learning, maybe numeracy by 8 a.m., and is living in Onwa East, and a child who's learning numeracy 8 a.m. in Oredo are learning at the same time, having the same curriculum because of the access to the internet. So free Wi-Fi or the laying of fiber optic cables has changed the way we live, has changed the way we offer medical services, has changed the way we educate our youths. So has it changed our lives? Has it improved the quality of our lives? Yes.
Now, you've been working with the government, the governor, for, let's say, how long? How many years have you been with the government?
About 14 months.
14 months?
Yes.
What would you describe him as?
To be very honest, I used to be a critic of Gordon OBASEKI when he was in the APC. I'm a politician, I was in the PDP, he was in the APC, so it was normal for me to criticize government's policies and programs, especially when I felt a different way about it. But as time went on and I began to see how he was bringing in new energy into government, how he was infusing some youthfulness and innovation into government, I had to step down for a while to say, well, is he doing the right thing? And I found sense in what he was doing. So when the governor reached out to me to come join government. I was a little bit, skeptical about it. That, well, sir, I used to be your critic, and now you want to bring in someone who used to be your critic into government. He said, I found value in you, and I want you to bring that value into government. That was it for me. That changed the way I normally would view a politician, because I was seeing hygiene. Hygiene in your kind of politics, where you're not angered or bitter about what I said 5 years ago, but the value that you've seen me, put up there and said, now bring all these ideas into governance. Let's see how we can make things better for the people. It's about the Edo people. You don't have to like me, but I like your ideas or your suggestions, so bring it in. And all through the last 14, 15 months, I found it easy to work. I found it easy to invent and innovate. So there's no stumbling block, there's no challenge, there's no hurdle that the governor puts in my way, and people are saying that, oh, you can't do this until the governor approves of it. I do things. I just do it, and when he gets to hear that I've done it, most of the times he's impressed. He may criticize it or have, ideas to give, but he gives you the latitude to express yourself. Because, like he said, he found value in this person's reasoning. So whatever ideas you have, bring it in. Let's mix it up with our agenda to develop the state and see how far we can go. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve. And I'm eternally grateful for that opportunity. I would never have been able to understand how government works without being in government. But now I have a full understanding of how it works. And my boss, His Excellency, is an interesting person because he's very intelligent. So if I'm going to sit before him, I have to, know my stuff. You have to know exactly what you're saying, and you have to know how to deliver it well. And I've come to understand him too. If I bring an idea before him and I'm seeing the way he's criticizing it, and I know where we're headed. So if I really want that idea to sail through, I stop for a moment, go back home, rearrange it in a proper way and present it differently. And then he'll be like, so you saw what I was trying to say the last time? See, that makes working easy. That makes innovation and invention beautiful. That makes you happy in that workspace because you're working with somebody who understands that I may not be right all the time. You may not be right all the time, but can we form a collaboration with our thoughts? Can we synchronize our ideas as long as it benefits the people? And I don't try to apologize him, here or wherever, because I was a critic outside of government. I'm still a critic inside of government. So where I see some things that I'm thinking we could have done differently, I go to do it. Where I see the need, I go to meet it. Because now I can't go on social media or go on TV to criticize. But then what do? If you find a problem, go ahead to fix the problem. That helps the government, that helps the people, and that helps you as a critic.
All right. One last question. What would you miss most about him?
That's a very interesting question, And there's an advantage, that I've had with His Excellency, and I'm sure my other colleagues are going to be jealous of. There's never a time I have gone to meet His Excellency with an idea that he turned down. He always listened first, then he would say, okay. I think I always like it when I hear that, okay, because the okay is like, okay, I've heard what you said, but there are many other things I'm also thinking about that you can add to what you're saying. Very constructive, And there's before now they say, oh, the governor, his hands are very, very stiff, he doesn't give. The man gives me, I don't know how he does it, but there are times when, he has given me gifts over and over, so I've seen a different kind of person from the outside and also from the inside. Perhaps it's because I'm not very agreeable. You know, I like to argue, and so that maybe he has found some, you know, some wisdom in my arguments. But I'm really going to miss working with a very humane person. He could be very critical too, you know, not easy to convince, but that's why you have to be sure of what you're bringing forward to him. But I'm going to miss the opportunity to serve with him. And I'm hoping that in the future, I will also get to do more things with him.
Thank you so much, sir. It's been a beautiful pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, sir. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.